Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner. Good evening, folks, and welcome to the Horror Corner. I'm your host, Sean Patrick Erschen, and this week we are doing another tag video. Ladies and gentlemen, Hellhound from the HorrorMetal channel and Sean Erschen unite to bring you the Godzilla tag. Yes. I was amazed to find that no one has done a Godzilla tag, so we're doing it, man. So in the description of this video, I'll have the link to Hellhound from HorrorMetal channel. Definitely subscribe to his channel. He's a great guy, and he will be doing his video today as well. Number one is, what's your favorite Godzilla movie? Man, that is so tough. There's so many Godzilla movies. Oh, man. Going all the way back from the original classic from 1954 all the way up to today, Godzilla vs. Kong 2021. So my choice is going to be Godzilla 1985, or The Return of Godzilla as it was released in Japan. And that's for a lot of reasons. One, because I think it's a damn good Godzilla movie. Another, because I always prefer Godzilla as being the threat as opposed to being like the hero. I love it when it's just Godzilla tearing shit up, you know. And because this was the first one I saw in theaters as a kid, I was 10 years old, and man, I was just loving every minute of it. I was like blown away. And yeah, and it's definitely one of the darker Godzilla films. Number two, what's your least favorite Godzilla movie? That's easy. Godzilla from 1998. The crappy American remake with Matthew Broderick. And I did see that in theaters too, and I could never get past the look of Godzilla in that movie, how he just looks like a giant iguana. I just couldn't get into it. And then it becomes like Jurassic Park towards the end there. Number three, what's your favorite Godzilla monster or kaiju other than Godzilla? And I'm going to pick Ghidorah, the three-headed monster. I'd say he's done the most damage throughout the entire franchise, including, of course, King of the Monsters, not to mention the original Ghidorah, the three-headed monster movie, and several others that he's appeared in throughout the years. Number four, what are your thoughts on the MonsterVerse, and how would you rank the 4 entries? Now, the MonsterVerse is the modern, that started with the modern 2004 remake of Godzilla, and then you had Kong Skull Island, and then you had King of the Monsters, and then, of course, Godzilla vs. Kong. I love them. I think they're great. Yeah, some of the character work is kind of shady, but the monster stuff is incredible, you know, the amazing special effects, and I just love it. And number one is going to be Godzilla vs. Kong, the newest one. Man, waited so many years to see that happen, huh? The original going all the way back to 1962, I believe. And number two is going to be Godzilla King of the Monsters. Really enjoyed that, even though it got bashed by critics pretty heavily. I love it, and I thought it was amazing, the monster action. You know, you had all Godzilla's enemies in there. You had Ghidorah, you had Rodan, you had Mothra. Man, it was awesome. Number three would be Kong Skull Island, and number four would be Godzilla from 2014. I thought it was a good movie, but I needed to see more Godzilla. I definitely felt that way, you know. And I did see that one in theaters too. Number 5, what giant monster would you like to see in the future if the MonsterVerse continues? So I have 3 answers for that. Number 1 would be Hedorah, the smog monster. The trippiest Godzilla movie ever. Yeah, he really gave Godzilla a hard time, man. It'd be interesting to see him in a modern movie. Next up, I'd say Megalon. Definitely a classic. Another one I would say is Gamera, who we never saw meet Godzilla, even though I think they were made by the same companies. They never crossed paths. You know. How did you first get into Godzilla, and how old were you when you became a fan? Aw, man, I don't remember not being a fan. I can't remember a time where I didn't watch Godzilla, so I'd have to say around at least 5, when I started watching them on TV, you know. And they always played them, I think, on like Saturday afternoons, on the WPIX network, I believe it was, in New York. They always played them like every week, and I just love them. I couldn't get enough, you know. I watched every single one, you know. Amazing. I always love them. Okay, next up is, which film features your favorite design of Godzilla? Yeah, so what do you feel is the best creature design of Godzilla himself throughout the franchise? Ooh, once again, I'm going to say Godzilla 1985. Yes, I'm not going CGI on that one because I just thought he looked awesome. He looked really dark and brutal and gruesome and really intense, you know. And Godzilla 1985 is definitely one of the darker movies, you know. A lot of that has to do with the way he was shot, you know, the way the director held the camera, you know. A lot of it has to do with that. Number 8, who do you think is Godzilla's greatest enemy? And once again, I'm going to pick King Ghidorah, you know. He always gave him a real hard time, you know, and they went at it quite a few times throughout the franchise. And I feel like he did the most damage, especially in Godzilla King of the Monsters. Look at the destruction that he caused in that movie. Okay, number 9. Which film is better? The original King Kong vs. Godzilla from 1962? Or Godzilla vs. Kong from this year, 2021? That would probably be easy for a lot of people. I imagine a lot of people would pick Godzilla vs. Kong, the new one, because of the amazing special effects, and the monster battles are just incredible. And that part of it is easily better than the original, of course. Obviously, they didn't have the technology back then, or the special effects to do what they do nowadays, so it's a big difference in that aspect. But I did have a few issues with the new movie, you know. There were some things that bothered me about it, you know. The monster action is incredible. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. So it's amazing, and every time they fight each other, anytime the monsters are on screen, I love it. But once again, the human characters, you know, almost ruin it. It's so annoying. Like, sometimes the characters, sometimes the story just goes in too many different directions, you know, and it's kind of like jarring in a way. But it certainly doesn't affect my enjoyment in the movie. I still think it's an awesome movie, and it's my favorite of the MonsterVerse. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to pick the classic, 1962. It's just so much freaking fun, and you can just turn your brain off. You don't have to think too much about the story. It's not like the plot goes in like 5 different directions, you know. It's pretty straightforward, you know. And it doesn't ever take you away. It doesn't ever take me out of the movie, you know. It's enough to keep me invested, you know. 10, come up with a tag team that you think would destroy Godzilla. And that can be in the Godzilla franchise or outside the Godzilla franchise. You can make something up like Thanos and Darth Vader versus Godzilla team up to take on, or something like that. But I am going to pick Mecha Godzilla along with Mechanicon. Yeah. You got the mechanical version of King Kong, the mechanical version of Godzilla taking on Godzilla himself. I think them two together would be bad news for Godzilla. Number 11, who is the lamest monster in the Godzilla franchise? And that is a no-brainer for me. It's going to be Manila, or as you might know him as, Son of Godzilla. From Son of Godzilla in 1967, yeah. Oh, man. Lame. Blowing his little clouds of smoke, his circular clouds of smoke. Oh my god. Number 12, do you prefer Godzilla as a hero or as a villain? And he's been portrayed several times both ways, you know. As in the newest one, he was kind of the bad guy, at least for most of the movie. So I am going to say I prefer Godzilla as the villain. I was like Godzilla being the threat and not like all these other monsters, you know. Sometimes I like it when it's just Godzilla himself as the threat. He's the one that needs to be taken down. He's the one causing all the destruction. That's the way I like it. That's why I like Godzilla 1985 so much. And of course, the original classic from 1954. Alright guys, that's it. The Godzilla tag from Hellhound from the HorrorMetal channel and myself, Sean Patrick Erschen. Now I'm going to tag some people. I'm going to tag the Collector Man, the Q's Reviews, the Trash Picture Show, Internet Web Kaiju, I know he'd have a field day with this one, Horrific Nightmares JM, Random Ross and Cadaver Club, answer the call and do the Godzilla tag. And thank you for joining me, Sean Patrick Erschen, in the Horror Corner. Tune in and stay scared.